If you're looking for a way to mount a camera to a table or a surface, or a great way to get overhead shots, then the Pro Aim geared column is a great option for you. It features a clamp that allows you to attach it to a desktop or surface from 0.7 all the way to 2.5 inches thick. This features a crank arm so you can lower and raise your camera, and it's a great option if you want to create a top-down rig or if you just want to use a desktop to hold a camera. This is really rated for small mirrorless or DSLR cameras with a payload of up to 11 pounds, and you need to add your tripod head and your horizontal arm to that payload as well when you're figuring out how much you can hold. So this is very similar to the Manfrotto 131TC. I actually did a review of that about a year ago, and I had a comment asking me if I'd seen this. So I reached out to Pro Aim and they sent me this column for purposes of making this video for free. But they have no say in this video. All the thoughts and content in it are my own, and they will not get to approve it or see this video before it's published. The Pro Aim column is solid and it feels really well built. All the parts on it are metal with metal cranks and knobs and screws, and it just has a really high quality feel. I will say there's a lot of grease on it, so it's been kind of messy working with this and my camera gear. So I don't know why they had to use so much grease on it. This column raises to a maximum of 25 inches and it can be used on a surface of 0.7 all the way to 1.5 inches thick. Unfortunately, there's no non-slipper rubber on the clamp, so I would recommend buying a little bit of drawer liner or toolbox liner to protect whatever desk you're using this with. The knobs on it are solid. You get one knob that tightens it to a desk, and then there's also another knob that locks the column in place, and then you get the crank. The crank has a handle that folds up and uses magnets to hold it in place. So if you loosen the knob, then you can adjust the height of your camera. Now just be aware that going up and down with this is not super smooth. It does kind of have a little rickety effect to it. So don't expect to be able to raise the camera while you're rolling and filming without it making a loud noise and vibrating. What's cool about this column is the whole thing is indexed and it has measurements on the side, so you can get really precise adjustments. Or if you know there's a certain height you want your camera set at, you can just reference the side of it. On top of the column, you get a 3/8 screw, which is perfect for attaching a ball head or a horizontal sidearm. Pro Aim also has some really cool horizontal sidearms on their website that I'm hoping to review soon. If you're using this for video, you could put a pan head on it and use a counter or a surface as a way to pan and use it as a tripod without taking up all the space of a tripod. Or if you use a horizontal arm, you can use it as a top-down rig. You can also just put a ball head on it and then point it straight down, but that's not going to give you as much space to work with when you're doing a top-down rig. Now this arm is really solid. Once you get it tightened to your table, any play that you see with it is really only going to be from vibration on the table. The desk I use is not super heavy and it's on wheels, so I do notice some vibrations if my arms touch the table and I'm moving around a lot or showing off a product. So it's best when my arms are not on the table and I'm just holding something directly under the camera. It would be even better if you could uncouple it from the surface that you were working on. So if you had two desks side by side, clamp it onto the desk that's directly by the desk that you're using for your top-down rig. But I know this isn't always possible for everyone's setup. So if you want to use this, I would definitely make sure that you have a solid desk setup just to avoid any vibrations in your shot. Another feature they added, there's two Allen screws on the inside of the clamp that allow you to adjust the level of the column. So if your table's a little crooked, you can always loosen those with an Allen screw and level out the column. So this is a really solid geared column, and I only have two major complaints with it. The first is there's no set screws for when you attach your ball head or tripod head. The Manfrotto version of this has set screws on the bottom so you can keep whatever head you have on it tightened. So if you go to pan with your ball head or tripod head, you could risk unthreading it because there's no way to lock the head onto the column. So I don't understand why they didn't include the set screws, even though there's the spots on it for set screws. My second complaint about it, we already talked about the grease that's used on it. I don't know why they had to use so much grease on it that can get on your hands and get on your camera gear. So it's just a mess and it's kind of annoying, and I don't understand why they had to use so much on it. I'm still cleaning it off of the column and off my camera gear even after testing it for a while. So if we start to tie it all together, this retails for about $110, and the only product I've found like this that's similar is the Manfrotto 131TC. And honestly, at first this looks exactly like a clone of the 131TC. A couple of the knobs and features are slightly different, but they're almost exactly identical if you look at them side by side. This comes in at $110 and the Manfrotto 131TC costs $300. So you're going to save a lot of money buying this Pro Aim vertical column over buying the Manfrotto one. After comparing both of them for a while and using them both side by side, I gotta say, just go with the Pro Aim because you're gonna save a lot of money and they feel exactly identical in terms of overall construction. The Pro Aim center column makes a great alternative to setting up an overhead rig using a C-stand or using other really bulky equipment. It's gonna be the best option if you can decouple it from whatever surface you're working on, but it's gonna be a great option as far as quality goes for the price that you pay. I have links to buy this Pro Aim center column in the description below, as well as a couple different sidearms, ball heads, and other tripod accessories I recommend as well. If you have any other questions about the Pro Aim geared center column, leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer them. Like this video, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any upcoming tech reviews.